15 Strange and New Archaeological Discoveries. Number 15. Ancient Chinese Princess and General. The remains of a couple were unearthed in China 1500 years after they were originally buried. It was found to be the tomb of a general and his wife, a princess, buried in the year 564. The two were buried in the same coffin and surrounded by a total of 105 items in their tomb. Most of these items are figurines that include statuettes of warriors, camels, ox carts, and drummers. The general was Zhao Jin, who served rulers of the northern Qi dynasty. The princess was Nie Liu, whose inscription describes her as modest, humble, and sincere. Number 14. Perfectly preserved skeletons. In the center of the Cambridge University campus, an ancient burial site was unearthed that dates back to 1290 and 1538. So far, diggers have found 25 perfectly intact skeletons. Other skeletons were chopped in half by 20th century foundations being placed into the earth. Archaeologists expect to find many more remains in the area, possibly 40 or more. Number 13. Untouched Royal Peruvian Tomb. A tomb created around 1200 years ago has been unearthed and revealed the graves of 3 queens. These queens were buried alongside gold and silver riches and what seemed to be human sacrifices. The area around the tomb has been looted and tampered with many times over the years, but the tomb remains completely untouched. It was protected by 30 tons of loose stones. The human sacrifices were found in sitting positions in neat rows, and the queens were buried in separate small chambers surrounded by gold trinkets and tools. Number 12. Noah's Ark Mosaic. In 2016, a mosaic that has imagery depicting the story of Noah's Ark was discovered inside of an ancient synagogue at the site of Huqaq in Israel. The mosaic illustrates, of course, the Ark and includes pairs of lions, bears, and leopards with other animals. It even shows the story of the parting Red Sea, complete with ancient Egyptian soldiers who were surrounded by overturned chariots. Number 11. Medieval wall buried underneath a parking lot. When the University of Leicester set out to build a new student accommodation block in early 2017, they called archaeological diggers instead of construction workers. These diggers uncovered an entire medieval wall hidden underneath the parking lot and future construction site in Coventry. Experts say that the wall was more likely used for commercial purposes rather than for defense. Now, Richard Buckley, who is one of the co-directors of the University of Leicester, says they may move the foundations of the new building to better preserve the wall. Number 10. Watlington Hoard. Oxford's University Ashmolean Museum will now be keeping the real-life buried treasure known as the Watlington Hoard. After they raised £1.35 million to purchase ownership, the Watlington Hoard is a set of treasure that dates back to sometime between 871 and 899 AD. The hoard was likely buried after Alfred, the great king of Wessex, defended his kingdom from Viking raids. They contained a rare penny minted with images of 2 emperors, who are known as Alfred the Great and Ceolwulf II, as well as 186 other coins, 15 ingots, 7 pieces of jewelry, and a scrap of gold. Number 9. Pyramid within a pyramid. Archaeologists discovered something remarkable inside of the El Castillo pyramid at Chichen Itza in Mexico. It's not actually just one pyramid, but a pyramid within a pyramid. The inside pyramid was created approximately 100 years before the pyramid constructed around it. Scientists used an electrical resistivity survey to see what lied underneath the surface of the outside pyramid. Some say the newer pyramid was built to correct errors in the construction and architecture of the first. Number 8. Virtually unwrapped Dead Sea Scrolls. The original and infamous Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered between 1947 and 1956, and this one found at the site of En Gedi was found in 1970. However, it was charred and fragile, making it impossible to physically unfurl. In 2016, a new CT scan has enabled us to virtually unfurl the scroll and revealed that it was part of the Book of Leviticus, first written around 1700 years ago. Number 7. Treasure on sunken Spanish galleon. The treasure found in the sunken Spanish galleon could be the most valuable shipwreck in Colombia that may have the biggest treasure found in a sunken ship of all time. It has an estimated value of around $1 billion. It once carried a hoard of gold, silver, and gems from South American colonies being ferried into Europe when a huge storm sunk the ship. Now, ownership of the treasure is being disputed between Colombia, the US, and Spain. Number 6. Egypt's youngest mummies. An Egyptian coffin has been sitting in the Fitzwilliam Museum in Cambridge, England, and has been sitting there for years, but recent technological discoveries have allowed us to unveil something new about the old artifact. For years, experts thought the coffin was filled with the entrails and organs of a mummy, but a new CT scan has revealed it actually contains the youngest mummy specimen ever discovered. It dates back more than 2,500 years and contains a 16 to 18-week-old fetus, not the intestines of an adult corpse. Number 5. Operation Pandora. A police operation that involves the entirety of Europe has uncovered more than 3,500 pieces of stolen artwork and archaeological artifacts from a criminal gang that stole the pieces forcibly. These include things like a marble tombstone from the Ottoman Empire, 400 coins from throughout history, and a Byzantine-era image of St. George. The operation was known as Operation Pandora and involved the arrest of 75 people and investigations of some 48,000 individuals. Number 4. Ancient Egyptian boat drawings. More than 120 carvings of boats were discovered in a structure at Abydos, Egypt, a site that dates back more than 3,800 years. The structure is covered in the carvings, with some reaching nearly 5 feet or 1.5 meters in length. Every drawing depicts detailed ships complete with masts, sails, deckhouses, oars, and rowers. The structure also contained wooden planks from what was likely a large boat that actually stood inside the site as well. Number 3. Oldest rock art in North America. Near the western side of Nevada's Winnemucca Dry Lake, there are limestone boulders that are marked with the deep carvings that date back as far as 14,800 years ago. These petroglyphs have been dated to have been drawn between 10,500 years ago, and the oldest being nearly 15,000 years ago. They have geometric motifs, symbols, and abstract art that we cannot immediately read. Many people to this day have no idea what they mean. Number 2. Ceremonial Bobcat Burial. For decades after their excavation from a Hopewell-era burial mound, the bones of a bobcat laid in a storage unit mislabeled Puppy Burial. It turns out the young bobcat was buried around 2,000 years ago in the largest of 14 Hopewell-era mounds near the Illinois River. It was interred alongside the remains of 22 people. The bobcat was buried like a human, left with a necklace that was originally thought to be only for humans to wear. This has forced archaeologists to question human relationships to animals throughout history. Number 1. Sharpened Claws from Moche. This is a pair of sharpened metal claws that was discovered in an ancient nobleman's tomb from the Moche civilization, a civilization that lived in what is now known as northern Peru. Diggers found pretty normal stuff, like jewelry, a scepter, and even a mask. The strangest thing in the haul were these sharpened claws. The claw was likely made to be a weapon and was attached to a full animal skin that would have been worn into battle. The nobleman was buried with symbols of status, such as his scepter, so these claws might not have been for him to take into the afterlife.